Life, Arthur Schopenhauer once said, is a pendulum swinging endlessly between pain and boredom. To him, human existence was not defined by harmony, but by struggle, an endless conflict between what we desire and the reality that refuses to satisfy us. Beneath our calm appearances, beneath our daily routines, lies a battlefield of longing, fear, frustration, and fleeting moments of relief. And yet, within these conflicts, we can discover who we truly are. What if a simple choice, a butterfly, fragile and silent, could expose these hidden struggles? What if the image that draws your eyes without explanation revealed the very conflict shaping your soul? Schopenhauer believed that our unconscious desires, our instincts, and even our sense of beauty are never random. They are mirrors of the will, the blind, restless force that drives all life and that traps us in the cycle of yearning and suffering. In this test, you will be shown 3 butterflies. Each carries a symbolic reflection of a different internal conflict: the longing for peace against the reality of unrest, the hunger for power against the certainty of emptiness, the pursuit of purity against the inevitability of chaos. Your choice will not solve these conflicts, but it will reveal them. Do not overthink, do not rationalize, simply look and see which butterfly your soul leans toward, because in that moment of instinct, you may uncover the struggle you have, always carried silently within yourself. Butterfly 1. The first butterfly glows in blue, its wings calm, soft, and soothing to the eye. To most, it would seem like a symbol of peace, of serenity, of a life lived with balance and stability. But for Schopenhauer, nothing in human existence is so simple. If you were drawn to this butterfly, it reveals a profound internal conflict, the struggle between your longing for peace and the restless will that will never allow you to fully achieve it. Blue is the color of stillness, of oceans stretching endlessly into the horizon, of skies that suggest infinity. Your unconscious choice of this butterfly may reflect the secret desire to live without turbulence, to escape the noise, the conflict, and the relentless demands of life. Deep down, you may yearn for calm relationships, gentle experiences, moments of clarity when the chaos of the world fades away. But here lies the Schopenhauerian paradox. The more we long for peace, the more elusive it becomes. The will within, us blind, insatiable, and eternal, does not allow stillness for long. Every desire satisfied soon gives way to another. Every moment of peace is fleeting, quickly replaced by new unrest. By choosing this butterfly, you have revealed the conflict between your yearning for tranquility and the impossibility of truly attaining it. Schopenhauer believed that the human soul is condemned to contradiction. We wish for happiness, yet every attempt to grasp it dissolves in our hands. The choice of the blue butterfly symbolizes this contradiction vividly. On the surface, you may appear calm, composed, even serene to others, but within, there may be restlessness, a voice that refuses to let you settle. You may achieve something you longed for, a relationship, a goal, a dream, and still feel the gnawing emptiness that follows once the excitement fades. This is not weakness. It is the human condition itself. To be drawn to this butterfly is to carry within you the eternal conflict between the peace you seek and the unrest that defines your nature. At the same time, this butterfly reflects sensitivity. You may be someone who feels deeply, who notices subtle details, who is moved by beauty and touched by sorrow more than most. This sensitivity is a gift. It allows you to see truths others ignore, but it is also a burden. For in a world as loud, chaotic, and often cruel as ours, the sensitive soul is constantly at war with its environment. You long for harmony, but reality bombards you with discord. You crave safety, but life offers uncertainty. You want peace, but the will inside you hungers endlessly for more. By choosing the blue butterfly, you have revealed how deeply this contradiction shapes your existence. There is also a hidden element of nostalgia in this choice. Blue is the color of memory, of longing for places we cannot return to. Schopenhauer wrote of the suffering caused by the will's relentless drive forward, never allowing us to stay in the moments we cherish. To be drawn to this butterfly may mean that you carry within you a quiet sadness, a wish to return to a time when life felt simpler, or to hold on to experiences that slipped away too quickly. Your conflict then is not only between peace and unrest, but between the present and the past. You live in today, but part of you is always reaching backward, yearning for something lost, something that reality cannot give back. Another aspect of this butterfly is the struggle between acceptance and resistance. On one side, you may tell yourself to surrender, to let life flow, to find peace in what is. On the other, you feel the constant pull of desire, dreams of what could be, goals not yet reached, love not yet found, harmony not yet secured. This is the heart of Schopenhauer's philosophy, that the will inside us does not allow us to rest. Even when we achieve what we thought we wanted, dissatisfaction returns. The choice of the blue butterfly reveals that you are intimately familiar with this cycle. You may know in your heart that the peace you seek will never be permanent, and yet you cannot stop yourself from seeking it anyway. This is your conflict, the yearning for stillness versus the inevitability of striving. It shows up in your relationships. You may wish for harmony, but find yourself pulled into arguments or disappointment. It appears in your work. You may long for stability, but always feel a restless pull towards something more. It appears in your inner world. You may meditate, reflect, and seek calm, only to discover that the quiet never lasts. Choosing this butterfly does not mean you are weak. It means you are human, caught in the same paradox Schopenhauer described. The will within you cannot stop, and your longing for peace is both your greatest hope and your greatest torment. And yet, there is beauty here too. For Schopenhauer, art and contemplation offered glimpses of release from this endless struggle. The choice of the blue butterfly may also reveal that your hidden conflict drives you toward beauty, toward music, literature, philosophy, or nature. Anything that allows you to step outside the restless will, even if only for a moment. You may secretly long for those moments of transcendence when the chaos fades and you feel connected to something larger than yourself. Though temporary, these moments are profound. They remind you that while peace cannot be permanent, it can still be tasted. Ultimately, the blue butterfly reveals an internal conflict as old as humanity itself, the desperate longing for serenity and the certainty that serenity will never last. You are drawn to the promise of peace, but bound by the will that keeps you restless. Schopenhauer would say that this conflict is not a flaw, but the truth of life. To choose this butterfly is to look directly at that truth, to recognize the battle within yourself, and perhaps to find meaning in acknowledging it, even if it can never be won. Butterfly 2. The second butterfly is not subtle. With its black and gold wings streaked with red, it commands attention. It does not whisper, it burns. If your eyes were drawn to this butterfly, it reveals a very different kind of inner conflict than the calm blue one. For Schopenhauer, this choice reflects the restless drive of the will in its most aggressive form, the hunger for power, for intensity, for passion. But beneath that fire lies the same tragic paradox. Every victory leads only to another hunger, and every flame burns itself down to ashes. Black is the color of mystery, of secrecy, of the unknown. Gold shines with ambition, with the brilliance of desire fulfilled, with triumph and recognition. Red glows like the pulse of life itself, the instinctual force of passion, desire, even aggression. Together, these colors create a butterfly that represents the will at its most urgent. To choose it is to reveal that within you lies a constant battle between the craving to seize life and the emptiness that always follows. Schopenhauer taught that desire is suffering because the moment we achieve what we long for, the satisfaction fades. New desires arise, new cravings emerge, and the cycle begins again. Choosing the black and gold butterfly reveals that your unconscious resonates with this endless striving. You may be someone who longs for intensity, whether in relationships, in success, in experiences, and who feels most alive when chasing something just out of reach. But no matter how much you achieve, a shadow lingers. The fire that once thrilled you cools. The victory you once craved no longer satisfies, and so the hunger begins again. This is your conflict, the intoxication of passion against the inevitability of disillusionment. In your daily life, this conflict may manifest as a pattern of striving and dissatisfaction. You may set goals, reach them, and quickly move on to the next. You may pursue passion in love, in work, in ambition, only to find that once attained, it does not bring the fulfillment you imagined. Schopenhauer would say, this is because the will within you is insatiable. It always wants more, and it never allows you to rest. Choosing this butterfly reveals that your internal struggle is not about calm versus restlessness, but about the intensity of desire itself against the emptiness it always leaves behind. The black of the wings also symbolizes another truth, the shadow side of ambition. You may feel torn between your hunger for recognition and your awareness of the suffering it creates. Perhaps you strive for power or success, but at the same time, you know that such achievements come at a cost of relationships, of inner peace, of exhaustion. This butterfly symbolizes the human tendency to chase greatness, even knowing it may never deliver the happiness we seek. Your conflict, then, is between your fire and your wisdom, between your instinct to pursue and your quiet knowledge that pursuit never ends. And yet, there is beauty in this struggle. The gold in the wings reflects the nobility of striving. Schopenhauer was a pessimist, but he also recognized the moments when art, ambition, or passion allowed us to step briefly outside the suffering of the will. If you chose this butterfly, it may mean that your unconscious is not only revealing your hunger, but also your capacity to transform that hunger into something meaningful. You may sublimate your intensity into creativity, into leadership, into building something that outlasts you. But even then, the paradox remains. The hunger does not disappear. It simply changes form. The red that pulses through the butterfly adds another layer. It speaks to passion, to desire, to love, even to aggression. You may secretly long for experiences that overwhelm you, that consume you, that make you feel alive in ways ordinary life cannot. But here again lies the conflict. Such passions, when fulfilled, burn out. They leave silence after the storm. And then the cycle begins again. The longing, the chasing, the emptiness. By choosing this butterfly, you reveal that your soul knows this cycle well. You may even be addicted to it, unconsciously returning to the fire again and again, even knowing it cannot last. Schopenhauer would call this the tragedy of the will, that we cannot stop wanting, even when we know desire brings suffering. To be drawn to butterfly too is to be caught in this tragedy with full intensity. Your unconscious may know that what you crave will never satisfy you, but still you crave it. You cannot stop. This is the human condition. The will drives us, even against our better knowledge. And yet, there is resilience here as well. Those who carry this conflict often become some of the most powerful creators, leaders, and visionaries, precisely because their hunger never stops. They may not find peace, but they find meaning in the fire itself. Perhaps this is you. Perhaps your unconscious has chosen this butterfly because you secretly accept that peace is not your path. You do not seek calm, you seek intensity, and you know that suffering is the price of living fully. Ultimately, the black and gold butterfly reveals a soul at war with itself, a soul torn between the ecstasy of desire and the emptiness that follows, between ambition and futility, between the intoxication of fire and the inevitability of ashes. Schopenhauer would say that this is not a flaw unique to you, but the truth of existence itself. By choosing this butterfly, you have revealed that your inner conflict is the same as the world's, the will to live, forever striving, forever unsatisfied. And yet perhaps in recognizing this, you can find a kind of meaning, not in escaping the conflict, but in understanding it. Butterfly 3. The third butterfly is almost ghost-like. Its wings shimmer with translucent white, fragile, pure, and ethereal. It does not shout for attention like the black and gold butterfly, nor does it soothe with the calm serenity of blue. Instead, it appears untouchable, a symbol of purity, of clarity, of something beyond the noise and dirt of ordinary life. If this is the butterfly that drew your instinct, Schopenhauer would say that your unconscious is revealing one of the deepest and most painful conflicts of human existence: the longing for transcendence and the inevitability of being bound to a world of suffering, chaos, and will. White as a color has always symbolized innocence, purity, and the desire for perfection. To choose this butterfly may reveal a hidden wish to rise above the messiness of life, to strip away illusions, desires, and struggles, and to exist in a state of clarity and truth. On some level, you may long for freedom from the endless cycle of wanting and dissatisfaction. You may dream of simplicity, of order, of purity in relationships, in choices, in your very self. But for Schopenhauer, such a wish is both noble and tragic. Noble because it seeks release from suffering. Tragic because it can never be fully realized. The conflict revealed in this choice is between your longing for clarity and the reality that life is inherently clouded. Schopenhauer believed that the will to live, this blind, relentless force that drives all beings, condemns us to restlessness. No matter how much we long for purity, we are bound to desires, to instincts, to struggles that pull us back into the chaos. Choosing the white butterfly shows that you are caught between these poles. Your unconscious yearns for transcendence, but the world keeps reminding you of its weight, its imperfection, its suffering. This conflict may show up in your relationships. Perhaps you crave honesty, transparency, and depth, but find yourself disappointed again and again by human flaws, lies, or betrayals. You may dream of perfect love or perfect friendship, but reality rarely matches that dream. You may wish to live free of hypocrisy, yet discover hypocrisy within yourself. The translucent butterfly reflects this struggle, the desire for what is clean and true against the reality of imperfection in every human bond. It may also appear in your inner life. Perhaps you strive for peace, for spiritual clarity, for a state where your mind is free of restless desire, and yet, even when you achieve moments of stillness through meditation, reflection, or silence, they fade. The will reawakens, hunger returns, boredom intrudes. You are left once again in the cycle of striving and emptiness. The white butterfly symbolizes this conflict, the wish to rise above desire against the truth that desire always pulls you back down. Schopenhauer would say that this butterfly represents a soul leaning toward renunciation. Deep down, you may secretly long to escape the cycle altogether, not through indulgence, not through victory, but through detachment. You may feel the appeal of simplicity, of minimalism, of letting go of what others chase so desperately. And yet, the conflict is that letting go is never complete. You remain human, bound by instincts, emotions, and needs. The purity you long for is real in your heart, but unreachable in life. The translucence of the butterfly's wings also suggests fragility. You may struggle with a sense of vulnerability in this world, a feeling that your sensitivity makes you more exposed to disappointment and pain. You may long for protection from the chaos, but the very openness that makes you sensitive also exposes you. Schopenhauer wrote that life spares no one. The will drives us all, whether we resist or not. The fragility of this butterfly reveals your conflict between the wish to stay untouched and the inevitability of being wounded. And yet there is a hidden strength here too. Those who long for purity often find meaning in art, in philosophy, in spiritual practice. Schopenhauer himself believed that art, especially music, allowed us to step briefly outside the tyranny of the will. If you chose this butterfly, it may mean that you are drawn to beauty, to ideas, to creation, as a way to transcend your suffering. Your unconscious may be revealing a secret desire to transform pain into meaning, to rise above the chaos, not by escaping it, but by shaping it into something sublime. Still, the paradox remains. Choosing the white butterfly means you live with the conflict between what you long for and what reality delivers. You crave transparency, yet life is full of masks. You dream of purity, yet life is messy. You seek freedom from desire, yet desire keeps you alive. This butterfly reflects your awareness of this conflict, your recognition that life is always both beautiful and tragic, fragile and relentless. Ultimately, the white butterfly reveals a soul caught between transcendence and imprisonment. You want to rise above, to exist in clarity and light. But you cannot fully escape the cycle of will, of longing, of suffering. Schopenhauer would say, this is the essence of human existence. The noblest souls are those who see the tragedy clearly, who long for freedom they will never completely attain, and who still carry beauty within them in spite of it. To be drawn to this butterfly is not to confess weakness. It is to acknowledge your deepest humanity, the conflict between your dream of purity and the reality of chaos. And perhaps, in that recognition, there lies a quiet kind of strength. Not the strength of victory, but the strength of truth. Now, you have chosen your butterfly, and with it, you have uncovered something far deeper than a simple preference. Schopenhauer believed that life is not defined by harmony, but by conflict. Conflict within ourselves, between what we long for and what the world allows us to have. Your choice of butterfly has revealed which struggle quietly shapes your existence. The yearning for peace against the inevitability of unrest, the hunger for power against the emptiness that follows, or the longing for purity against the chaos of reality. These are not conflicts you can resolve once and for all. That was Schopenhauer's most brutal honesty. The will within us never rests, never ceases, never allows us the perfection we dream of. And yet, in recognizing these conflicts, we take the first step toward understanding ourselves. When we look at them directly, without denial, without illusion, we gain a form of freedom. Not freedom from suffering, but freedom in awareness. The butterfly you chose is not a promise of escape, but a mirror showing you what you battle, each day in silence. Now, I want to hear from you. Which butterfly did you choose? Did the description of its conflict resonate with your life, your struggles, your hidden truths? Share your answer in the comments below. Perhaps you will find that others carry the same conflict you do, and in that shared struggle, you may discover connection, even comfort. And if this reflection gave you something valuable, if it made you pause, question, or see yourself in a new way, then support this journey. Leave a like on this video so that others can also discover it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because there are many more explorations ahead, psychological tests, philosophical reflections, and journeys into the depths of the human mind. By subscribing, you are not only following content, you are joining a community of thinkers, dreamers, and seekers who dare to look at life not as it pretends to be, but as it truly is. Schopenhauer said that suffering is the essence of existence, but also that beauty, through art, music, reflection, gives us a momentary release from the chains of the will. Perhaps this video gave you such a moment, a brief step outside the ordinary noise, a chance to reflect on the hidden battles you carry. If so, then let us continue this path together. So tell me, which butterfly reflects your inner conflict? Comment below, leave your like and subscribe for more. Because while the struggle never ends, the act of understanding it, of naming it, of sharing it, can transform suffering into meaning. And that, perhaps, is the closest we come to peace.